Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Crowd Chatter Podcast. Today is going to be a video on the top 25 rankings for college football as the AP poll. It came out on Monday. I'm recording this on Thursday. We've been inactive for a while, so I do understand. So there hasn't been some videos in quite some time, and we have a lot of NFL videos to do. There's a lot of college football stuff we still need to get done. So we still have quite a bit that we need to finish up. But seeing that this is the very first AP poll, I figured that we should go over it. Maybe I give a quick overview of all the teams and what I think of them. So without further ado, let's get started on this on this preseason AP poll. Number one, of course, is the Alabama Crimson Tide. 54 first place votes for Alabama. About 60 votes ahead of number two in the country, as well, you can see who number two is. But this is a good Bama team, and I think they're the likely culprits to win the championship. I mean, you look at how talented their team is from top to bottom with the transfers they received and what's already coming back, too. This is a fantastic lineup, and it's hard to really go wrong with this Bama team. I think is incredibly likely that we'll see the Crimson Tide win yet another championship, which is very annoying to think about, seeing how many championships Nick Saban and Bama have already had at this point, but it's not like you can really do that much about it. Anyway, moving on from the Bama Crimson Tide, number two, we have Ohio State. Well, we're going to have to see if that defense actually steps up this year, because it certainly didn't last year. But that's going to be the difference of the season for Ohio State, is going to be its defense. Can it at least be competent and be able to at least give Ohio State some sort of stability? Or is it going to falter and completely self-destruct on itself? Six first place votes for Ohio State. Number two in the country, really good offense, and still has an incredibly good offense. But the defense is still kind of lacking. But we'll see if there's any improvements this year with former Oklahoma State defensive coordinator Jim Knowles now in town. Number three is the defending national champions, the Georgia Bulldogs, with three first place votes behind Ohio State. Well, this Georgia team is going to be looking at quite the overhaul of the entire roster. Going from their entire defense going to the NFL to really having to replace their two running backs on offense. So, will this Georgia team be able to produce another championship? Honestly, I don't think so. I think it's going to be very difficult for this team to really even get to the SEC championship game unless they can stay undefeated in their side of the conference and they can knock off both Florida and Kentucky, as those are the two big teams they need to beat. Can Georgia do it? I think they absolutely can. But this team has a lot of talent to replace, and to do that in one season is a lot. And you're also losing your defensive coordinator. Gotta keep that in mind too. I still think Georgia will have an incredible season, but the going back to the CFP might be a bit much, but I think it's certainly possible for Georgia. I don't take them out of the conversation whatsoever. Number four is the Clemson Tigers, who are obviously the favorites to win the ACC, which the ACC is a mess of a conference. But really for Clemson, I'm really surprised to find them this highly ranked, considering their quarterback room is really in shambles. Their offense last year was really in shambles, and their defense was about the only thing that kept them in games, but they ended up being 10-3. And also replacing both of their coordinators, offensive and defensive. So still a lot of things that need to be fixed for this Clemson team before they can really think about championships or anything of that kind of sort. But this is still a good Clemson team. I would still expect a good season from them, and I very well could see them winning the ACC, considering what the rest of the teams look like in that conference. But um, certainly, I think Clemson should have a solid overall year. Dabo Sweeney, good head coach, and he knows what he's doing. Number 5, we have the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Notre Dame. Uh, I'm not the biggest Irish fan. I mean, all those players obviously they really get up to play for Marcus Freeman. They love their head. They love their coach, and that's a big thing for players. When you have a group of guys who love to play for their coach. I mean, energy is a big part of the game too, and he has gained some big talent to the Irish. So we'll see how it produces, but I think the Marcus Freeman era should be off to a decent start. I think number 5 is a little high for Notre Dame, but it's a Fighting Irish, so they always gotta be ranked high in the rankings. Number 6 is Texas A&M. I think this is criminally underranked for Texas A&M. They should be probably ahead of Clemson. I mean, you look at their recruiting class from last season, it might be one of the most ridiculous recruiting classes we've ever seen. I mean, the amount of top recruits that Texas A&M brought in it is just inhuman. I mean, it doesn't even seem possible for Texas A&M to do what they did this past off season. Unbelievable team here for Texas A&M though. Coming into this year, I think they're Bama's probably biggest competition coming into this year. Number 7 is the Utah Utes. This is incredibly overrated. I'm sorry. This Utah team is okay. I mean, I know a lot of people like Cam Rising, their starting quarterback, but they have no Devin Lloyd. They lost a good amount of their defense, and they're really just an okay team at best. I mean, you look at the Pac-12 last year; they beat the crap out of everybody because nobody in the Pac-12 was any good. The best team probably in the Pac-12 last year was Oregon, and they throttled them both times. So Utah, I'm not the biggest fan of the Utes. I've given them a top 10 ranking, especially after Ohio State throttled them in the Rose Bowl last year. I mean, it is Ohio State, but still, when you have a great defense and you give up however many points they did to Ohio State, it might have been like 52 or something. I don't even remember. It was pretty bad. Um, but when you give up that many points to a team to another team, it kind of puts some doubt into your effectiveness. And also, I think USC is far and away the favorites to win the Pac-12. As many people want to say it's Utah, no, it's USC. Don't even try me on that one. Number 8 is my Michigan Wolverines. I am cautiously optimistic for these poor Wolverines. I mean, their entire team, they're kind of like Georgia. They lost the heart and soul of their defense to the NFL. I mean, their offense is still around. Michigan's offense will be fantastic, but we're not like Georgia where we can just throw in some random freshman or true freshman or true sophomore who's ready to go and has all the facets that we need him to. We don't necessarily have that. We have some decent players. We don't have just like guys that we can throw out there who are going to be NFL ready in like 2 years. We don't have that kind of talent. We're not on Georgia's level. So we have a lot of production to replace. I think Michigan will have a good season, but I think their downfall is going to be at least Ohio State at the end of the season. And then we have Oklahoma coming up next at number 9. This is a little high as well. Oklahoma's team is undergoing head coaching changes and had an entire exodus of their program leave for, well, USC. So I'm, once again, cautiously optimistic about this Oklahoma team, considering they lost pretty much all of it to USC. So, I mean, we'll see what Oklahoma looks like, but to expect a a lot out of this Sooner squad is ill-advised. Number 10 is the Baylor Bears, defending Pac-12, Big 12 champions. Baylor, another good team. They have lost a couple good players. We'll see if they produce more of the same last year. But other than that, don't really have much thoughts on Baylor. I'll kind of just go through the rest of these a bit quickly, quicker here. Trying to come out the words here. Number 11, we have the Oregon Ducks. New head coach, new coordinators. Dan Lanning now in town. We'll see how the Ducks play, but I think the Pac-12 is still USC's. Number 12, Oklahoma State. Just came up short against the Baylor Bears. We'll see if Oklahoma State can repeat more of their success from last year. Not really sure if they will or they won't. They still have Spencer Sanders, so we'll see how that goes. 13, we have NC State. Devin Leary is still around. Probably Clemson's biggest challenge in the ACC, not named Miami or maybe even Pitt from the coastal side. But NC State, Clemson's main competition. We'll see how that game goes because that's definitely going to be an interesting one to see. Number 14, we have USC. I am sorry, but this team is going to the playoff. If you have looked at the amount of transfers that USC has brought in, they have completely turned what was a crud team before into an amazing team. Now I get like chemistry takes time, but when you get enough practice, they might have a slow start, and that's why they have like Rice scheduled right off the bat, and then you have a big rivalry game against Stanford, which Stanford sucks, so who really cares? So USC, this team is overloaded with transfers and just they're oozing with talent on the offensive end. And the defensive end, they have some solid players too. Don't really know as much about their defense as I do their offense. But this is a USC team that is absolutely terrifying. And if it does pan out and all these transfers can come together and play together as a team, man, they're gonna tear through that Pac-12 like it's a knife through. Like it's a knife through warm butter. I'm not even kidding. It's gonna be too easy for them. Number 15 is Michigan State. Big thing for the Spartans is gonna be who replaces Kenneth Walker, and if the answer is nobody, I don't know what to say then, because their offense was totally dependent on Kenneth Walker last year, and without his success, I don't know where Michigan State's offense would have been last year. And if it doesn't happen this year, I still don't know where it will be. Number 16, we have Miami, Florida. The Mario Cristobal era is now underway in Miami. This will be year one of the rebuild. Tyler Van Dyke still the quarterback. I like Miami's team. They have an early test against Texas A&M, which is a big test for Texas A&M too. But for Miami, I think they'll have a good season. They'll probably win the Coastal. Them or Pitt, which Pitt's next. But Miami, Florida's team, solid overall. Tyler Van Dyke is a good quarterback. You got a good head coach in Mario Cristobal. So we'll see how things pan out with Miami. 17th, we have the Pittsburgh Panthers. Keaton Slavis now at the helm. No Jordan Addison. I don't have much faith in Pittsburgh. They're an okay team. Considering them a ranked team is a bit of a stretch. Number 18 is Wisconsin. This team is going to be Braylon Allen or bust on offense. And their defense lost a bit. Their defense was actually number one in the country pretty much last year in every category. But their offense is what let them down. But after Braylon Allen, their true freshman's breakout from last season, really had a fantastic few weeks there at the end. Wisconsin seems to have found something. And if he can continue his success this year, I think the Big Ten, not only is the Big Ten West going to have to watch out, but all those teams playing up from the Big Ten East, because I know Ohio State and Michigan State are. Penn State is not. I know Ohio State, Michigan State are. Those two are going to have to watch out, because if they can't stop Braylon Allen, they're not going to be able to stop Wisconsin's offense. And whoever makes it to the Big Ten championship game is going to have to deal with the same thing. Number 19 is the Arkansas Razorbacks. Arkansas's team is solid. KJ Jefferson returns at quarterback. Lose Traylon Burks, so that's obviously a huge loss, and really that's all I gotta say about Arkansas. Their team's solid, but saying they're much more, hard to really say that. Number 20 is the Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky's team last year had a great start and it kind of fizzled out at the end. They've lost a couple players, but most importantly, their quarterback returns, and Will Levis transferred from Penn State. He's a good quarterback. I think a lot of people underestimate his capability. I mean, I saw him as a backup at Penn State when he took over for Sean Clifford, and I said to myself, why is this guy not starting? He has a bigger arm. He has a bigger arm. He's tougher. He can run a little bit. He's better than Clifford in every single aspect. Why isn't he playing? But obviously he thought the same thing. So he transferred to Kentucky and boom, had a nice year. Now he does have some things to clean up still in this game, but he definitely shows that he has some potential. And if he can develop even more this year, Kentucky's going to look good. Number 21, we have Ole Miss with, of course, now Jackson Dart at quarterback. And also Zach Evans at running back. Got both of those transfers. Big ones for Ole Miss. Considering that the SEC West is as good as it is, I think it's going to be hard for Ole Miss to find success, but they should still have a good season, like 2 or 3 losses, I would say, max all year. So Ole Miss is going to have some fun scoring points. They just won't have fun trying to stop people. Number 22 is Wake Forest. No Sam Hartman. Good luck, Wake Forest. That's all I got to say about you. Number 23, Cincinnati. Their entire team left for the NFL. There ain't anything left anymore. So, not really much I can say about the Cincinnati Bearcats. I'm sorry for you guys, but there's nothing left, and you have to play Arkansas week 1. So good luck to you too. Number 24 is the Houston Cougars. Once again, I mean, their team was good last year. That's probably why they got in the rankings again. I mean, solid, but once again, nothing more. Their first game is actually on the road against UTSA, so that'll be interesting. But Houston gets 24th, and then 25th, we have BYU. This team lost Tyler Algier, which was the heart and soul of their team last year at running back. So I don't know how the heck they're going to place that. And their schedule is absolutely brutal. If we ever actually go over their schedule, dear Lord, they're in for a rough year. I mean, it's not going to be fun for them. And that's it. So thank you for listening to the preseason preseason review of the AP poll. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll actually have a little fun with college football here soon, as week 0 is actually next weekend. I mean, there's like only 10, 11 games, something like that. I figured we'd have some fun. We would just pick them for no apparent reason. So I actually have those games already set, ready to go. We'll pick those next week. Who's gonna be on there? I'm not really sure. We're gonna work out the details of that. But yeah, that's it for this video. We'll see you on the next one. Adios, everyone.